So today I wanted to come in and show you how to make the perfect smash burger. It's more of an onion smash in the aioli and in the bun, but I heard you were interested in cooking and wanted to own a restaurant maybe, so I figured we could come have some fun with cooking and just get excited in the kitchen.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure, so I started cooking really early on in elementary school is when I started having fun with it, but I wanted to get my knife cuts perfect first. That's the one thing that mattered the most to me. I would wake up every morning and ask if I could cut or chop anything to help my parents get done cooking breakfast a little bit faster, but I enjoyed the knife cuts the most. As I got more interested in cooking, I enjoyed grilling and meats and steaks and all these other proteins in the whole world of food and pasta and Asian food. So I just decided that it made sense for me as soon as I was able to start working in the kitchens and building the passion for food.
Cool.
All right, so I'm gonna start heating up the pan here, and then we're gonna put a little bit of butter in it once it starts to get warm and toast off the buns.
Okay, so where do you go to college?
I currently attend Johnson & Wales University. I'm a sophomore studying food and beverage entrepreneurship. Where do you currently go to school?
Pierce School. It's actually being rebuilt this year, so it's up at Fisher Hill. And then, yeah, I mean, I heard there's a great culinary arts program at the Brookline High School. Did you attend that?
I did not. I went to Newton South High School, but I also did see the culinary buildings in the floor below us.
Yeah, I think it will probably be cool to see that.
That's one thing that I wish I had in high school was a culinary department, because my school didn't really have one. And if they did, it was more you make a batch of cookies or a breakfast sandwich or you learn something simple. It's good to be able to learn from chefs who actually know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's good.
There are a lot of times where people are like, we're cooking, and I'm like, yeah, but it's gonna be like freaking waffles. that,
Something nice and easy. All right, so we're gonna start by putting a couple teaspoons of butter down in our cast iron here while it preheats. Just gonna use the spatula to move it around. Just make sure everything's evenly coated. And then once the butter starts to foam up like that, then we can take the two halves of the bun, put them in the pan, and just make sure to give them a really nice press down so they get evenly toasted. And I like to turn mine around again just to make sure everything's nice and covered in butter and it's gonna toast evenly. When did you first start cooking?
I mean, well, I started, like, I really liked cutting stuff just like you when I was, like, really little. Like, I got my first knife set at EAT, which was actually really cool. But I first just started cooking, like really getting into it when I was like maybe 10, 11, like around 4th, 5th grade.
Great.
I started really like liking baking and cooking.
Great. If you had to open one kind of restaurant with one cuisine, what would you choose as the cuisine of your restaurant?
You know, I'm not sure. It depends. Well, it depends on a lot of things. I mean, I would need to, it depends what I know how to make, first of all. And also, I think that there are certain cuisines that I love. Like, I love Chinese cuisine, and like I really like Mexican cuisine, but I would need to learn how to like make those, I feel like, first.
Absolutely, and travel is a great.
Which I definitely could do, yes.
Absolutely, travel is a great tool to be able to experience all those flavors too, and just really get to know what you like, because there's nothing better than cooking what you like eating.
Yeah.
Okay, so next, well, we wait to cook the burgers. I think we get started on our 3 onion aioli for the sauce.
Okay.
All right.
So
here in the cup, I have a couple cups of mayo, and then if you want, you can just juice these slices of lemon right into there. If you want to do one, I'll do one. Paper towel, of course. And then we're gonna add next, a couple spoonfuls of our 3-onion jam, which has Spanish onions, red onion, shallots cooked down with a whole bunch of seasonings and spices, as well as pomegranate balsamic. So that's become a really, really nice, sticky, flavorful reduction.
Yeah.
And then we're going to immersion blend that lightly. So then we'll just give that a few pulses. Turn it on at the top and then just push it down into it. Okay, great. And then finally, I'm just going to show you how to slice some chives, and then I'll let you take a chance at it, and then we'll stir them all in, get it seasoned up, and start on the burger. So I like to make sure all the ends are nice and lined up with my knife here. Then I pinch the blade, and I start to get my nice little shaving rings. I'm tucking my fingers back to make sure I don't cut my knuckles. You see we start to get these nice, fine rings of chives to go into the sauce. So if you'd like to go ahead, do some knife cuts. Perfect. Yeah, straighten them out, right down. Sharp knife is key. Beautiful.
How many do we want?
I think you can stop right about there. That's actually perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I throw them in?
All of them can go right in, and then we'll just go in with a little bit more salt as well. Beautiful. Nice job, Cal. And then if you want to take the ceramic spoon and just give that a nice stir through, then our aioli will be done. Okay. Now we'll get the pan nice and hot for the smash burger. So I'm at about 8 out of 10 right now as far as heat settings. And we're gonna make sure that the cast iron pan, which is nicely seasoned, is almost smoking before we drop the burger in to make sure we get a nice crispy smash burger.
Okay, so I know you did a TV appearance when you were younger, about my age. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so when I was your age, I was 11 years old in 6th grade, and I got the opportunity to appear on MasterChef Junior. That was a very exciting opportunity for me because it was really the biggest goal of my childhood so far. I had tried out for 2 years in a row in Boston, and the first year I didn't really get accepted to the show at all. I got kicked out after a round of auditions. But the second year when I tried out again, I finally made it onto the show with the support of my family. And it was just a super fun experience to be able to dive really deep into cooking at such a young age, even in middle school. And then luckily after that, I was able to come back to my hometown of Newton and do a little bit of smaller set TV show in my hometown, which was really fun as well.
Yeah, that sounds fun. What did you make your second year to get in?
My second year to get on MasterChef, I made a rosemary and celery seed crepe with pancetta, Gruyere, and mushrooms. All right, so now our pan is nice and hot and smoking. So I have here a nice 4-ounce ball of ground beef, or a little bit over 4 ounces. And I have some nice flaky kosher sea salt here. We'll get it all around one side of this golf ball size of meat, and then right down into the pan. So if you want to do it. So then here we have our smashing spatula. I like to go right down on top of that, and you'll hear the beautiful noise. And the key here is to twist so that the spatula slides off of the burger nice and easily without breaking it. So now what's happening here is called the Maillard reaction. It's the non-enzymatic browning of the proteins. So as the fat starts to melt away, the protein in there will become really nice and crispy and not caramelized because there's no sugar, but it'll give us that really deep flavor we're looking for.
Yeah.
So for a smash burger, I think you have to use American cheese, otherwise it's inauthentic. It melts the best. I'll give you a flip in about 10 seconds. And then I just squirt a little bit of water around the burger to create some steam so that cheese gets nice and melted. All right. Do you want to spread some of our onion aioli on the top bun, please?
Sure.
Say about a full spoonful of that. Yeah.
About that much?
That looks beautiful. Perfect, Al. Thank you. And then right as the cheese finishes melting there and stops looking a little plasticky, that's how you know our smash burger is cooked and done. You can come right with the spatula, right onto our bottom bun there. Close it up. And that's a perfect smash burger. Awesome. What's a dish you tried to make and it didn't turn out quite right?
There was one time where I was actually trying to bake pavlova, and it was just like way too wet, didn't puff up at all, didn't keep its shape.
Yeah.
It just like completely fell apart.
These pavlovas get really delicate in the oven
Yeah.
with the egg whites. Yeah.
But then I did try it the next day again because I needed that pavlova, so.
Pavlova is the key
Tried
to
it again.
success, along with resilience. That's good.
There was one time where I looked up a recipe on my own for a rack of lamb and made that completely alone. That was fun. I also did the exact same thing with a beef stew. That was also good. Those, and I have done some sourdough, like I made sourdough bread before, but that was like with other people. So.
How long have you been keeping your sourdough starter?
Not for very long, just for like maybe a half a year. I just got it like pretty recently, but the starter's I think about like 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I got it from my aunt, so
Very nice.
that was good.
Family starter. That's cool. You should check out Johnston & Wales.
Okay.
It's really nice to cook around all the people your age who want to be cooking too. You
Yeah.
learn more from each other than maybe sometimes even in class. But all your cooking friends become your cooking friends for life too, which is really nice. So when you're older and you want to go to a restaurant, it could be your friends. So the chefs that have taught me so far at school have all been industry experts with many, probably 100 years of combined experience between them. My most recent memorable chef in the spring was Chef John Oxtolis, who unfortunately recently passed away over the summer. But he at one point was an executive sous chef at the World Trade Center complex, and he was in charge of storing all of the fish for the World Trade Center without any refrigeration. So they had shaved ice buckets that were about 6,000 gallons each, and they would pack all the fish individually layer by layer on the ice, and they would dig the fish out as they needed it for restaurant service. So I thought that was a great example of managing the food business side as well as the food itself. As far as food business goes, I think the key is to find the part that you enjoy doing the most, because the food industry is not easy and it's long hours, and you have to think when everyone else is paying you to cook, it's usually their relaxing time, dinner, weekends. So managing how you see yourself in the food industry and making sure you're really enjoying cooking and enjoying the part of the food industry that you're doing is key for sustaining yourself. Take this.
Okay.
Here's the salt. You're gonna season it up, and let me grab you that smash patty again. I like to go with my second hand on top of it, but don't press it down too far into the pan or you'll burn yourself.
Okay, so should I go now? How hot is that? I mean, it says hot, so.
We'll give it about 10 seconds. So take the salt, sprinkle on, and then salt side down right in the pan. Gorgeous. Then right down in the middle.
Should I?
Beautiful. And then one, and then yep. And then jiggle it back and forth with that one hand on. Keep going, a little thinner. Keep pushing. And a little thinner than that. You can push down with that hand. Perfect, that's the noise. Yeah. Then usually people season smash burgers just on one side because they're so thin.
Yeah.
I like to salt both sides if the second side's even a little less. I just think it makes sure the seasoning is very even and nice. Great amount of salt there. All right, well, while that's waiting, do you want to sauce up your top bun and I'll grab you a couple slices of cheese?
So I'm gonna want to put this on maybe like halfway.
Right after you flip it.
Right after I flip it.
Right after you flip it, I go on with it, and then that cheese will tell you when it's done.
Okay.
Beautiful. And then cheese right on there.
Okay. One or two? Both?
And then a little squirt of water in the pan. Perfect. That's enough. Some steam and I really got my first job when I was 13 in a kitchen, even though you're supposed to wait till 14, but I found a chef who was willing to let me work, so I was happy to work.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I mean, I'm planning on starting right when I'm 14, so.
Do you have an idea of where you'd want to cook, or you don't have to?
Not completely sure yet, but I mean, I have a while to decide, so.
Yeah, exactly. Great, that looks beautiful. I hope you stick with cooking. I'd love to come try your food someday, hopefully in a restaurant, but if it's not, that's fine too. And yeah, please feel free to reach out and ask any questions about cooking or school or the industry or anything.
Yeah,
so
sure, I will.
I'm here, so thank you. I enjoyed cooking
Problem.
with you. I currently own and operate Chef Zach's Culinary Services. We operate in the greater Boston and Cape Cod areas. I cater small dinners from 2 to 250 people, and I do unique menus every time. My current specialty is taking really, really great techniques and applying them to local and seasonal ingredients wherever I happen to be cooking at the time. So if you find yourself in Cape Cod and you'd like some local little necks and Wellfleet oysters, I'm happy to come down and play with those ingredients. And if you need a wintertime dinner in Boston, I'm happy to come over and do a big roast leg of lamb. So I can apply great French techniques and classic trained techniques to local and seasonal ingredients where you are to create a unique and special dinner party for really any size or occasion. So I'm great for last minute bookings, and everything is always unique and original, so you're never really getting the same menu as somebody else.